Professor Pete here. We're going to spend a few weeks looking at Toon shaders. This is for the lighting and rendering course. So let's just jump right into it. The very first thing we need to do when we get into 3ds Max is to go under the render setup for Arnold and switch out under Arnold Renderer. We need to switch out one of the filters. So under here it says filtering, sample filter set to contour. By default is Gaussian blur. Okay, so we want it set to contour. So now when I render this out, this image here, this is what it looks like. So you can see I've already applied the Toon shader. The Toon shader looks kind of gray, and I did not apply it to the legs here. So you can see that the diffuse, the color that's attached to that shader is still showing the color. But when you apply the Toon shader, it will look gray like this. So let's go into the slate, and this is the only way we can activate the Toon shader. It's not as easy as you probably can imagine. It should really be in the max to A, but it's not. So I'm just going to kind of hide this, put this somewhere else, and I'm going to focus on making a new Toon. So I'm going to go under type in Toon over here for material map browser, and there it is, and I'm going to drag it in. So there's the Toon, and I need one more. It's map to material, so map to material, and again it's an Arnold, so I'm going to drag that in there as well. And so this will only allow us to make everything work. We need this map to material, so I'm going to attach everything here to the texture map, and now I'm going to select the map to material and attach it to, I've selected everything on the scene here, and now everything is the Toon shader. So when I render it out, this is what it looks like. You see the contour and you see this very flat looking material. Okay, so now I'm in the Toon shader in the material editor, and we are going to change some values here. So we're going to make the base weight 0, and we're also going to make the specular weight 0. And we're going to create, so this basically kills the color. The specular also kills it. And we are going to go to emission down here and make sure that that's set to 1. And just for the purpose of time, I'm going to show you what the result is. Okay, so we've killed, like I said before, we killed the diffuse, and it's all black and white with just line. And again, just for the purpose of time, I rendered this just to show what it looks like with the Arnold original shaders there, and which is, I think, plastic and metal. We're going to change this value for angle threshold for edge detection to 20, so this will give us more detail. So this is what it looks like with more detail. You can see that there's more going on here. Unfortunately, my tree leaves, it's just showing the map, so now, I mean, it doesn't look so pretty. So hopefully you've got a better background. So now we're going to go back and add the shader color just to show you again what it was like with before, but now we're going to bring that back. So let's go to add specular weight. So specular weight to about 0.6 and emission weight to 0.3. And we're going to set the emission color to gray. And this is the result. So you can see that there's a little bit more detail that's coming back in here. So it kind of looks like a print, you know, like a lino cut or something like that. So you can see the specks coming in too with the white spots there. Let's move over to the slate material editor, and now we're going to add a little bit, another node to our Toon, and we're going to map it to the mask color. So this mask color up here at the very top. And it's called a utility shader, so we're going to just type in utility and drag that in and add that to the mask color. We can double click on the utility, and you can see on the right hand side there's a bunch of parameters, and this is another, in terms of the mask color, we're going to try to give a little bit more depth to the render. And so you can play around with this, but we are going to adjust the roughness and make this a lot less, 0.01, and you can play around with this. You put 0.1, 0.2, and we're also going to change the shade mode to metal, and again, something you can play with as well. And now you can see the difference. You can see the noise that it's created. Pretty interesting. It's pretty intense though. This is what it looks like with plastic, a little too intense. And then this one goes back to metal. And then I changed the edge width back to 0.8 to give it more black. And so this is okay. Again, I think it's tricky to see the type of model that you've got and how that affects this particular shader. But the Toon shader, as you can see, some really cool results. Taking line art, it looks like an illustration. Very interesting, and I think this is something that you can add to your portfolio of interesting renders. And this is just kind of a teaser, so play around with this, and you can kind of see different results. It's pretty fast to render for me. So for the Arnold render, again, I was using Arnold plastic there and chrome with volumetric light in the background. And so this took roughly 20 minutes to render. But with the Toon shader, it took about 26 to 28 seconds, but it's also lower resolution. So I was also rendering so in the Arnold render, you can see that my camera is set to 1. And under common, you can see my aspect ratio is 1280 by 720 in terms of the output size. So you can get faster renders this way. Again, perfect for testing. Then when you're happy with it, then you can up or down. But that's all I wanted to show, just a quick thing there, and we'll be more involved with other tutorials with different Toon shaders. Professor Pete out.